What's going on, everybody? Back again with another one because we definitely got to talk about this today. Jaylen Brown has officially responded to Stephen A. Smith again, and trust me, there's a lot to unpack here. And hold up, it even ended with Jaylen Brown inviting Stephen A. to debate him live in front of the world on his live stream. Now listen to this. Jaylen already went on to Stephen A.'s platform before, so in my opinion, it's only fair for Stephen A. Smith to return the favor and step onto Jaylen's platform so they can really have this conversation in front of everybody watching, because you already know those numbers would go crazy. But meanwhile, the All-NBA teams recently dropped, and that opened up another whole debate online. If you look at the last few seasons, Jayson Tatum has consistently made first-team All-NBA every single year. Now remember, these awards are supposed to be based on regular season performance, and during that stretch, Tatum absolutely earned those selections. But this season, Jaylen Brown had the Celtics sitting in the number 2 spot in the East around All-Star break, and they still finished as the second seed once Jayson Tatum returned near the end. Now here's where things started getting interesting. You look at first-team All-NBA this year, and somehow there isn't a single Celtic on the list despite the season Jaylen Brown had. Then I'm looking at Cade Cunningham, Luka Doncic, and the rest of that top group. If you go by the MVP rankings, Cade actually finished 6th while Jaylen Brown finished 5th. So when I see that, I honestly think Luka should have dropped lower on that list and probably ended up outside the top 5 altogether. And because of that, I don't think he should have made first-team All-NBA over either one of those guys. But somehow, Luka made it, Cade made it, and the player who finished behind Jaylen Brown still jumped him for that accolade. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this was the final MVP ladder from the regular season. So, with all that being said, let's get into Jaylen Brown's response, because he definitely had something to say about it.
Not the most liked fan or media. Sometimes I use my platform a little controversial, so I'm surprised I'm on any team, let alone first or second. So, moms in the chat, second team All-NBA. I'm grateful. God is the greatest. This is live too. Like this is live. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything. I'm not surprised about nothing. I'm grateful for everything. I know who I am, so I get it. You know, I'm surprised I win awards at all sometimes. So I'm grateful, man. It's a blessing. Like I said, this season has been like this season has been a journey. It's been great. You know, it's been a blessing to be a part of the group that I've been on, especially with the expectations they put on us. The expectation was to, you know, not even be a playoff team. And we finished second.
About this, Paul?
Yeah, I would be upset. I thought he was in the MVP conversation.
Sure.
And when you're in the MVP conversation, you should be a first team. But, you know, the guys that made it are also well-deserving. I think if I had to take one person off, maybe Luka. And I know that's saying a lot because Luka did lead the league in scoring, but he had more.
He missed a lot of games.
He missed some games, but he had more to work with too.
Sure.
Think about it. He had LeBron all year.
Yeah.
You got Reeves, you know, a lot of the most of the year. Jaylen Brown, he did the most with the least out of all these guys that's on the least, and maybe Cade Cunningham. I mean,
Sure.
you know, but Jaylen Brown didn't have a second All-Star.
Facts.
A lot of these guys did. You know what I'm saying? So I would have probably removed Luka for Jaylen, but I'm not mad that Luka's on there because he did have a spectacular year. But he has an argument, man. I literally had Jaylen Brown 4th in the race for MVP.
So Jaylen Brown wasn't the only player slighted this year. I think his was the biggest snub, but OG Anunoby should have made first-team All-Defense too. Stephon Castle also deserved more respect for his defense. But Jaylen Brown still took time to address Stephen A. Smith again. This time, he sounded much calmer, but you could still tell he wanted to re-engage with Stephen A. after appearing on his platform before. That was after the championship run and the whole Nike situation. So let's check it out.
Last and not least, let's get to this, because like I've been seeing some of the stuff, the comments, but I'm not gonna keep going back and forth. So let's react and respond, and then I promise y'all this is my last one, unless we want to do like in a more formal fashion.
But in the end,
Jaylen Brown, be careful what you wish for. You really want me to start reporting on that level? You understand?
Oh, be careful. Motherfucker John Gotti.
Locker room? How the organization might think about you? How the city may feel about you? How Jason Tatum may or may not have feel about you? Sneaker deals, endorsement deals, the list goes on and on. The season is over, bro. City may feel about you. How Jason goes on and on. The season is over, bro. City may feel about you. How Jaylen Brown, be careful what you wish for. You really want me to start reporting on that level?
Come on, man. Come on, Stephen A. You El Chapo? You running the media cartel, my boy? Come on, man. Talking about be careful. Man, listen, I ain't even gonna get into that, y'all. Like we gonna keep it high vibrations. Listen, I'm not even really focused on Stephen A. I'm really focused on the industry that he represents. Like, obviously I have my quarrels with Stephen A, but I also have my quarrels with the industry in itself. Stephen A is the face of the industry, and his willingness to serve his higher ups is a major cause for concern, you know, and it's caused frustration, but it ain't even really about him. So here's my proposal. Why don't we have a live audience debate? Traditional media versus us athletes. And let's do a live debate in front of a live streamed audience at a mutual location, like a Harvard or MIT, and let's talk about it. And let's see who come out on top. Should be easy. Should be a piece of cake, you know. Mainstream traditional media versus the athlete. Let's set it up. Harvard, MIT, live, and let's see who come out on top. You know where to find me. You know where to contact my team.
There's nothing wrong with a formal debate with NBA star Jaylen Brown, right? And listen to this. Jaylen basically said instead of going back and forth through the media, why not sit down and really do this live in front of the world? He even mentioned doing it around places like Harvard or MIT with scholars and debate departments involved so people could really break down both sides fairly. The whole idea was mainstream media versus an athlete standing on what he believes in and seeing if both sides could actually find some middle ground. Because right now, Stephen A seems to be at odds with a lot of people. We even saw Rashad Zakance in the comments showing Jaylen Brown's support. And it's not just him either. Stephen A has had issues with Mace, issues with Nick Wright, and honestly, I think Nick Wright has been doing a little clout chasing himself by jumping into every Stephen A headline possible. But at the same time, people have also accused Stephen A of building narratives off athletes and pushing stories that were already circulating about certain players. And that's where the Jaylen Brown conversation gets really interesting to me, because people keep throwing around words like toxic or saying he doesn't fit the program. But hold up, what exactly is the program supposed to mean? And why is a player asking questions or having opinions suddenly treated like a problem? Jaylen Brown is a guy who talks about bringing Black Wall Street ideas to Boston and helping inner city communities. He's somebody interested in things outside of basketball like NASA and technology too. So why does that become the player people constantly question? It almost feels like people want athletes to shut up and dribble, but at the same time expect them to speak intelligently when it benefits the league. You spend years calling them student athletes, teaching them to grow mentally and think bigger than sports. Then once they reach the NBA, people suddenly act like they shouldn't have opinions anymore. But reality is, basketball only lasts for so long. By 40 years old, unless you're LeBron James, most players aren't either still competing at that level. And even LeBron isn't playing forever. So eventually, there's another part of life these players have to prepare for and embrace. And honestly, Jaylen Brown seems like somebody who understood that from a young age. That's probably why some people say others feel threatened by him. Because we've seen plenty of athletes over the years talk about agents, business people, or people around them taking advantage financially. Kevin Garnett and others have spoken openly about trusting the wrong people with their money. So maybe Jaylen Brown coming into the league asking questions and paying attention rubs certain people the wrong way. Like, nah, you're not about to play with my money or tell me something's red when I clearly see it's blow. That awareness probably changed how some people around the industry viewed him early on, especially when you got a strong circle making sure everything is handled correctly before problems even happen. So yeah, some of these narratives could honestly come from agents or people inside the business themselves, but overall, I'd definitely like to see that debate happen live. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.